Today we're going to show you how to make a simple baby blanket brought to you by Jina Barney. She's going to show us how to make this project in a few easy steps. So Jina, I noticed you made it out of flannel.
And you can make it out of cotton.
And it looks like it's simple to make, but I know you have some tips.
There's just a few things that you have to do exactly right in order to make it come out. It is simple, but if you're cutting exactly, then you won't have problems with matching up and getting this to lay flat. You don't want to have big puckers or uneven borders. So let's begin by cutting our bottom piece, which I used about 1.25 yards and cut 42 by 42.
Okay.
Now you can use anything you want.
And always good to use a coordinating fabric.
As long as there's about a 10-inch difference. So the bottom is 42 by 42 and the top is 32 by 32. Now make sure that's really squared up and that you've got all your edges even and straight.
Edges are precise. You could even use like a minky
or
on
be
the
cute.
inside and cotton on the out. There's a lot of fun things you
One
can
of the
do.
things I have learned is to make sure that I'm matching up right sides together, and that, do you see how that has a little bit of a stretch?
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that I'm also
That's
matching it.
The fabric.
Right. That this is not stretching. This is your selvage. So I'm going to make sure that I match my selvage to my selvage edge, which will be the opposite of what I had. That way, I'm not going to have any puckering, or my give will be here, and it'll be the same amount of give.
So your two sides are matched.
So what I want to do is match up my centers where first I want to find my centers. So on all 4 sides, I'm going to find a center.
Just fold them in half and mark your center with the pin.
Correct. Then you'll take your pins and you'll match those and pin. I'll let you pin that outside edge, and I'll pin this outside edge. Now I've got a 1/4 inch marking that I like to put right in this corner. 1/4 inch from that edge and 1/4 inch from this edge, and then the same thing on this one. And that's where I'll begin my sewing. I'll begin right here.
That's where you're going to stop and start.
Yep, and stitch to right here. Now on the first edge, I like to do a 4-inch opening right here.
So you've got to turn this whole project inside out.
One of the things I do like to do is check before I begin sewing that I've got an even amount from corner to my edge of this inside border, because then I'm going to know I've got the same amount on each side and that I really am centered.
You're truly centered. Yeah, that makes sense.
So what you'll do is you'll do this to each edge, so all 4 corners. Okay. Which will bring us to this point. And you'll think this is so strange because you've got this bulk right here. But that's correct.
There's your little opening.
Yep.
And your edges are just right on.
You just take your stitching right to that little the little dot that you've made, and don't overlap or you'll give a little pucker in that corner. You just right to each other.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's the next step after?
And then we're going to find a 45-degree angle. So I like to take this corner, kind of shake that down. So I've got sort of a triangle piece going on, and I'll do this for each corner, all 4 corners. And I'll take and match that bottom so it's even at the top here. And I like to line it up across this line, the whole edge. And then what I'll do is take my ruler and I'll find my 45-degree angle. Now that becomes straight across my stitching line right there. And I take the end of this 45-degree angle and I go to the end of my stitching. So this edge right here,
so you're just making your sewing
just
line
pencil
right
lining. And that's where I'll stitch, is right on this pencil line. And I like to back stitch. Again, I don't want to overlap over my stitching because I'll create a pucker, and then stitch and back stitch right here. And then I can trim that excess. Leave about a 1/4 inch and trim off your corners.
Okay.
So there you are to this point.
This is a good example.
Where we've taken and we've got the corners.
So these two you've got to trim.
Yep. And what I like to do is just take my ruler and keep a 1/4 inch on there. And take that off. Let's do your other one. And then we can turn it, I'll let you turn it right side out.
Okay.
Through that hole.
Find
This is the fun
hole.
part because you start to see it come together.
Well, and it's really pretty simple as long as you got your
Yeah.
angles right and you measured right.
Yep.
It's a fun and quick and easy blanket. Perfect for summer when you don't need a lot of
Yes, and such a great gift if you
bulky.
need something really quickly and something personal. And there you go. So once you've got it to this point, you'll poke out all your corners so they're nice and pretty. Lay this flat on your ironing board.
This is where you need a nice hot iron.
Nice hot iron, and you'll steam press this whole thing open. You'll take your opening here and you'll pin it.
There you go.
There you go. Let's grab this
So we
one.
can show the one that's been pressed.
And this one has all been pressed nicely.
There's your opening right there. You've just got pinned, ready to stitch.
Yeah, and you
closed.
can top stitch right over the top of this. Use a cute decorative stitch. Take and put a little piece of trim.
You could do a simple top stitch or just do this all at once, couldn't you?
Right, do it all at once. And then the other thing that I like to do to keep the middle together is create a grid right here. You can take like a 12.5-inch ruler and just draw a square around that. You can measure, but that way when you're washing it doesn't come undone. It just kind of stays neatly
Stays
together.
flat together. That's a good idea, and you
Yeah.
could use all your fancy stitches
Yeah,
from your sewing
yeah.
machine, and they're a beautiful way to embellish as well. So what a great project, and all new moms love homemade blankets, and this is a light and easy one, perfect for summer, but good to have around the house. And you've, I know, made several of these.
A lot. And now I'm expecting all my friends to make them for me.
Because you're having more babies,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So thank you, Jina, and thanks for a great project.
Thanks for having me.